Sayn-day Welcome, everyone. We're just about to get started. Hopefully everyone can see the screen okay.
Is Carolyn on? Oh, okay. Just making sure you're ready.
All right, and Carolyn, I will turn it over to you to get us started at the top of the half hour.
Okay, are people still signing in to be admitted?
I think we got a lot. Everybody that was waiting is on.
Okay.
I don't know, we might have some joiners in a little bit. I talked to a few people that said they're getting on in a little bit, but you can just go through housekeeping if you want.
Okay. Well, welcome. We know this is a busy time for all of us. It's just 3 days before Christmas and we're all busy, but we're glad you're joining us. Some housekeeping, please remember to put yourself on mute when you are not speaking. And please sign in with the number of people watching. Like, for example, Connie Wardy, 5 people watching or joining in the Zoom. And also, if you want to put where you're joining from, that would be helpful information. Just want to see where people are joining into the Zoom for this Kiowa community outreach. Okay, we'll get started in a few minutes.
We still have some participants that are joining us that are supposed to be, sharing.
Okay, well then I'm going to go ahead and sign in. I can. Anyone, are all the Kiowa candidates on Cricket?
Sorry, still one is joining. And make
Okay.
sure you put how many members are in your household at the time, because it helps. If they are hearing any of this, they're part of the outreach because they're getting to hear part of it. And that also helps with more accurate numbers when we report. Okay, I think our participants are on. Let me look. Okay. It looks like all the ones that are going to be doing talking are on now.
Okay. Antonia still, I saw her sign in. Okay, I'm going to start now. Encore. Saynday Babon. Saynday Bàihên. Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah. Twohatchett. Wonderful to see you all. Wonderful to meet again. We're going to tell you Saynday stories. you listen. Saynday is an important figure in Kiowa culture. From previous community outreaches, people have asked about Saynday stories. So that is the purpose for this community outreach topic for the Norman and Anadarko language group. These stories are told in winter. So now we can listen to Saynday stories. And we're going to start off with Courtney Zotigh Yarhola. She's a Norman teacher candidate. Courtney. And then we will have prayer, right? Opening prayer.
Pamanta, the only God that combo, a dog, the bongo, the on the town. Get town, the God don't get. Hate to get the done. Get some in a Ashango, Zotigh, Anadarko, Saynday Amba town, God don't get. Èmhâñmémá, but Saynday they paid. I get God don't get on. I get palm out or they all get baked dog or Èmhâñmémá, but town dog in it. They go God get over the bongo get town. They only Kûidàu they go obey or go Saynday dog get. I.e. I told they paid Kûidàu dog with the God get over the top yan high get on they on the on they get eight get the town. Get town with the paid a hold it, but a good hold dog. A big good all the paid I so they paid go the don't get so go to the door they paid so a hold it, but kids are getting yeah. The third they call and the own pedal the get town or go to the door. A hole to get on, but how you get the ball heat or how you go get go how you the ball heat. I mean my other people the content it all taught I'm begging their own time or their own the I can't pay the all taught. Amen.
Amen.
If you're just joining, please sign in with the number of people that are joining with you in the chat box that are watching this Zoom meeting. Okay, and now we will have Courtney Zotigh Yarhola.
Saynday Babon, Courtney Zotigh Yarhola Akon, Morgia Akil, Anga Deko Neda, Kodasi Galase Ga Zotigh Ga. To see you all this evening, I'm Courtney Zotigh Yarhola. I'm from Moore, and my families are come from the Kodasi, Galase, and Zotigh families. This evening, I want to share with you, just before we begin hearing some of the stories, the teacher candidates with a big help from our elder mentors and the some of the Kiowa culture recordings that we'll hear this evening, as well as from some of our memories from what we've been told with our grandparents and family. We put together some introduction slides that will talk about Saynday, and many of you may already know this, but the time whenever stories are told and how they're told and how they begin, appropriate season to tell them, the rules that were shared by Saynday of how to tell these. And so when I say aho to, before we start this, just to our elder mentors and those that came before us for the stories that were shared, and those that listen and remember what you've been told and what we've, and that's passed that down to all of us to be able to share this outreach with you all this evening. On our slides, we want to credit the Silverhorn calendars and the Saynday that you see here on our slides, and we'll go on. So to say Saynday Stories, it's Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah. Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah, Saygah, Gingah, Anim-hayhn-tday-thaw. The Saynday Stories in the winter nights, they are told. Saygah describes the winter, and Gingah is the night. Saynday Kyah-mon-daw, bon Èmhâñmémá. When you see Saynday's hand, and this is referencing the Orion's belt, so talking about in the stars in the sky and the constellation, that's when you tell his stories, whenever you see that. In what the Kiowas, what we call that is Kyah-mon-daw. Saynday's hand is what it's describing, and you see that. Saynday Stories, you'll hear in this that what those that are shared, and maybe you have memories, or that and you've told stories yourself, or you remember being told them. They'll start with Séndé Áu. Hansel ba ama da na Saynday Áu T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl. So if you don't follow this way, Saynday will become angry and your nose will grow. Saynday describes that being angry, and mock is nose, and Kûidàu is describing how your nose will grow.
Saynday Goes Fishing. Saynday is the Kiowa trickster man. Saynday son Kûidàu. Saynday holds the shield on cheating. And what that refers to is that when you hold the shield, that means that you have become notorious for doing something. So that's part of Saynday, how we identify him as a trickster man who sometimes does a little cheating.
Judith? Is Judith on?
I saw her on.
Okay. Saynday Goes Fishing. Saynday helped us Kiowa. So Tom is talking about how he helps and assists us. And you'll hear that in the stories that we tell or that are told this evening. And you may recall some yourself in other ones that aren't shared this evening. But Tom is the help and the assisting that Saynday did for us Kiowas. Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah, Èmhâñmémá. Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah, Èmhâñmémá. Saynday Stories teach us something. Bàihên, talks about his teaching others and teaching us. And so you'll hear that in many of the stories is the lessons that are told. And so listen for it whenever we are listening to the stories, the lessons, or there's a moral to a story that you're going to hear. So we want to invite you to listen for that, remember it, and then of course, after it's all said and done, to retell it and share it with others.
Saynday bon saw me. So Saynday, he was interesting and kind of strange looking. Saynday going got golbe got Saint paga a do got o sega ma o condome. Saynday, he was tall and kind of lanky, but he was strong, and he had a mustache, Saint paga, and his voice was kind of like he had a sore throat. It was kind of raspy. Kûidàu. Saynday is the uncle to the Kiowas. And Saynday Khan. Kiowas call him Uncle Saynday.
Aho, Courtney and Max and Laurie. That was very good information. Next, we'll have David Pullman, another teacher candidate. Oh my God.
Good, isn't it?
Hello, everybody. My name is David Pullman, and I'm gonna be sharing our origin story. It's a very important story. It's how we came to be. Deonde ba bon, Deonde ba san. How wonderful to see y'all. How wonderful y'all came. Kûidàu, Kûidàu. It means pulling out. It's the original name we gave ourselves. Kûidàu. Tonga, Goigu, Toyebo. Long ago, the Kiowa came through here. Séndé Áu. Saynday was coming along. Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah. Saynday was lonely. Saynday Áu go on date. Saynday was sitting by a cottonwood tree and thinking. No hi get zane. And then he heard talking. Saynday Goigu and Norman. Saynday reportedly pulled out the Kiowas from the hollow of the tree. Bàihên Saynday go on ma date go dègyà. A woman that was with child got stuck. No Goigu Tate Dahel, and no more Kiowas came out. Dègyà Ts'ánhólhèl, yet Saynday Stories. That is how we became the Kiowa people. Bàihên.
Ah,
Oh, oh, aho, David.
Oh.
Next we'll have Courtney Zotigh. She will tell us another story about Saynday.
Thank you, Carolyn. The next story that we're going to hear is about how Saynday helped bring the sun. And this story is going to be told by Grandma Martha Nell Pula, and she is the voice that you will hear over it. And the teacher candidates that help with this is Alice McClellan and Antonia Belindo, Judith Hunter, and Melody Post, and Hojana Post. So I want to tell them, I wanted to acknowledge them. And then also there's some graphic designs in here also from by Dylan Tidark, and you'll see a depiction of Saynday that we have in this story. I just want to also acknowledge and thank Grandma Martha Nell Pula, and then Grandma Dorothy, Grandma Dee, Grandma Velma, Brenda, and our elder mentors that help with this program. And they spend a lot of hours answering all of our questions, emails, calls, and they never hesitate to respond to us, even in the midst of, you know, some of them having jobs and families and other doings that they take care of and responsibilities. So I really want to mention that and say thank you, Aho. And then I'm going to share this story with you. Bear with me. Let me get it pulled up here. And if you look on here on the story, it's all in Kiowa, but there's the English words to it that you can read along with it. So
Bàihên, dègyà. Saynday bát thon. Saynday. Bàih. Up. So Kûidàu. Marta Tsohi. Goigu hagat ade. No Bàihên gedame. Ongo adame. Go Bàih adode. Go ongo bon ki adode. Go anem yayame. Go Bàih ayayadode. Asayi. Go hayal de kile. Em kumoyi. Goigu at Ts'ánhólhèl. Ot Bàih anem augetoyi. Abe goigu at Ts'ánhólhèl. Gigo a boat all day nigga. Eki Èmhâñmémá. Go yai Saynday. Kahi dame got up. Go so Kûidàu. Go Marta Tsohi. Gigo Bàih Akobehapehel. Upaki heat pong. Gigo all Guiga. Bahape. Batone. Bàih Sauhel. No hayal de kile. No Séndé Tone. Baba. No on hell. No mai on gu hell. No Bàih Pamba Ts'ánhólhèl Dédom Tai Ya Bone Om the Hill. Ho Em Tony
Oh,
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 Oh.
Oh.
oh,
oh.
I-
I-
Miss Martha Nail, that was good. I wanted to mention she's an instructor at Kiowa Language at OU. And so someday we hope to sound as good as she read that story. And I also wanted to thank Courtney, and who did the Saynday, the drawing of the Saynday, Courtney.
Okay, so the Saynday was sketched out by all of the teacher candidates. So Alice, Judith, Hojona, and Antonia, they all sketched out their version of Saynday, and then it was digitized, kind of put together by Dylan Tidark. He's out from Lawton, and he's a digital artist. So he did that for us. So we really appreciate his help with that. And then I also wanted to mention that, well, I forgot, but that we really thought it was important, and we wanted to share that story with Grandma Martha Nail Pula, saying it or telling the story to kind of bring back memories of maybe whenever some of our grandparents told us stories. So to kind of share that part of it. And we thought that was important to include in the outreach. So we thank her for doing that for us so graciously. And like I said, they always just help us along all that they can. And so we really appreciate that.
Oh, and then after Melody, I believe you're next, Melody Redbird Post, Dr. Melody Redbird Post.
Oh, aho, Courtney, and aho, Carolyn. Gom Gidagima Akoi Ka Anadarko Akil. This is Melody Redbird Post, and next I wanted to share with you this story. And so this story was also made by the same group. So we wanted to make sure that we acknowledge all of the teacher candidates and mentors that worked on this. So this story is a version as told by Grandma Dorothy Whitehorse DeLaune, and the teacher candidates that worked on this along with me are Hojona Post and Courtney Zotigh. And we're really excited to share this story with you. And we did this as a storybook version. So it's a PDF file that families could, download and read aloud with their children. And so we wanted to share this with you. So again, you'll see the Saynday in this story is the same digitized version of the Saynday that Antonia, Allison, and Hojona, and I know I'm missing one, Courtney, that everyone contributed to and was digitized. So that you'll see that Saynday also in this story. And Judith, yes, thank you. So thank you so much to all of the teacher candidates who worked on this particular story. And thank you to our elder mentor, Grandma Dorothy, for supporting us, and also all of our other elder mentors, Grandma Martha Nell, Grandma Dee, Miss Emma, Miss Brenda, for helping us along the way with preparing this story. So we're really excited to share it with you. Okay, so this story, I'm going to go ahead and read aloud as if I'm reading to my kids. So, Ako. Èmhâñmémá ga Saynday, Mrs. Ant and Saynday, as told by Dorothy Whitehorse DeLaune. Harragarra goigu akide. Once upon a time, there was a camp of Kiowas. Saynday Áu, Èmhâñmémá Bàihên. Saynday was coming along. He saw Mrs. Ant Woman. Èmhâñmémá gatone. Séndé Áu. He sat down and said, "What are you doing?" dègyà fatal though. Opaya hayai kida Bàihên though. They ba though, but hodam though. I'm thinking seriously about the future when we should be gone. There are too many of us on earth. We are crowding each other. Hane, Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl. No, Saynday said, we will be together forever. It will be good times. Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl. So be it. That's the way it will be. Saynday Dègyà. Saynday Goes. And Saynday heard someone sobbing at the top of their lungs, at the top of sound. Saynday went and looked. Èmhâñmémá dame. It was Mrs. Ant Woman. Saynday T'áukáuik'í. Nando Èmhâñmémá. Saynday said, "Why are you crying?" Aga and Ida. Edel Tsanga on thing. Gahol na hatso at. I have one son. Big buffalo came and stepped on him and killed him. Now, how can I stand this? But you decided that, and that's the way it will be. Na Èmhâñmémá bega hegame Saynday Hapedal. Now, Mrs. Antwoman picked up a hack knife and almost cut herself in two. Saynday T'áukáuik'í Èmhâñmémá but higame Toyebo. Saynday said, "You were the one, Mrs. Ant, who made that decision, and that's the way it is." And that is why the ant is now two little red balls. Before that, it was just one little red ball. Obaha Yahandeta. This is the end of our story.
Oh.
Oh.
Ah,
Oh. Yeah.
Ooh.
Aho, Melody. Next, we have Antonia Belindo, and she will tell us another Saynday story or introduce another Saynday story.
Séndé Áu Emhâldagoon Agoi Kong, Antonia Belindo Akon. Today, so we'll be going over the story Saynday Ba. So Saynday Goes Fishing. And this story is about how Saynday loses his tail, but we were able to produce this with, of course, the help of all of our mentors, Marthanelle, Delores, Dorothy, and Velma. And our teacher candidates that were able to work on this story was Lori Good, Cricket Conawarty, Alice McClellan, even though she can't join us today, myself, and David Pullman will also be helping us out this evening. So we're really excited to be able to tell that story with all of you. Cool. Saynday Bàihên Saynday Áu. Saynday goes fishing and loses his tail.
Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl. Saynday was coming along. It was cold weather. It was winter.
Mina T'áuhámémá. I'm dying of hunger. Bàihên. The river is frozen. There is no food. Héta. Wait, over there. Kûidàu. It is Coyote.
Séndé T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl. Kûidàu. Saynday was disappointed. He was looking for food. Coyote was not food.
Segi. Honde. Nephew, what are you doing?
Being get demon, saga 8-day. Being get bald. I'm catching fish. During winter season, I will eat a lot of fish.
Saynday Hot. Saynday was envious.
Kûidàu Ts'ánhólhèl. Ha'oi T'áukáuik'í Bàihên. Coyote put his tail inside the hole. When the fish bit his tail, and he quickly pulled the fish out and he ate it.
Saynday going tone dègyà. Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl. Saynday did not possess a long tail. Saynday put a small tail in the water.
Saynday Brings the Sun. Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl. Thank you, doll. Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl.
Gong. Hey, God, tone, hey, da. Kûidàu Oteha. Han Gutongya. Yang ama. Gong. I lost my tail. Coyote, enough. Oh shoot, sorry. You didn't give me good advice.
Saynday Kûidàu ma. Kûidàu oega. Koba. Saynday didn't see Coyote. Coyote had disappeared into the forest.
Kûidàu ain't Ts'ánhólhèl. Coyote, you tricked me.
Ha. Saynday same thing. Onga be Ts'ánhólhèl. Ha. Foolish Saynday, you tricked yourself.
Bàihên.
Get da. Yes, that's the way it is.
Ha.
Oh.
Oh,
Cricket, you should have used gong.
Gong.
We learned a new word from that story. When we get frustrated, you can say gong.
Oh, gong.
Okay, next, I want to remind people, if you just joining us, please sign in the chat box with the number of people joining so that we can get an accurate count of this outreach. And next we'll have Tim Yegu introducing the next Saynday story.
Hey, good evening, everybody. So good that you're with us this evening. So we are doing Saynday and T'áukáuik'í, and we've kind of taken it from really three stories that we heard of T'áukáuik'í. So, and we just kind of trying to do it a little different. So we have it in a puppet skit, and we're fortunate that the young men that helped with this are very good at speaking Kiowa, and so I just want to say thank you to those guys doing that. And thank you to all our mentors that helped out. It just we wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for them. So at this time, we are going to play this, and then we'll say something afterwards. So Mr. Max, it's all yours.
Hey, Saynday, Saynday, dègyà, Séndé Áu. I'm Captain Saynday. I'm here with the Cohorts, and I'm looking for T'áukáuik'í.
Captain Saynday better get that ball out or someone's gonna get a whooping.
Saynday, that's not a cat. That's my horse. That's my Ts'áhn. Captain Saynday needs a Ts'áhn, Saynday. Hey, Saynday, can you tell me a story about Saynday and T'áukáuik'í?
Oh, Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah, Èmhâñmémá.
Oh, Saynday, it's winter night, Saynday.
Saynday de mon abonhèl gesord Èmhâñmémá.
I will check, Saynday. I will check.
Watch out for that ball! More bang!
Oh, Saynday, I ran into my horse over there, and I did see Saynday's hand, Saynday.
Han en delta, han get bondomo.
Wait, Saynday, I can fix it. I'm Captain Saynday, I have chiku power. Chiku!
Segi hatso ba ame.
Wait, Saynday, this is a puppet skit. We can do that kind of thing. Saynday, can you tell me about Saynday and T'áukáuik'í?
Oh, hatero kopsa poldo.
T'áukáuik'í, he was huge and he was ugly and he smelled really, really bad, Saynday. And when he walked around the ground, she had bro, and he lived in the forest so long that a cedar tree was growing out of his head. And he carried a bag and he put cowboys in them to eat them.
Yo.
And he would make this woo, woo sound, Saynday.
Yo. Beso. Beit ohal. Kopsa polo e hel. Onde ho dome. Onde Ts'ánhólhèl.
Oh.
Kopsa polo. Hi, I am Banma.
Kûidàu Banma. God be Banma.
Kopsa polo. Ha em tano. Gogu han oiha akino. Haiga to akil.
Honey, Saynday and God Ts'ánhólhèl Kûidàu. Nine Ts'ánhólhèl.
Kopsa polo. Ede yan hai gedo. Hato e not tarudo. Hega a mo.
Hey, go e tahito. Go e han o em honto.
Ha and Koba and Kohan. Tamar got gold o Zedobe, Zola ba on Tom and all Tom.
Zelbe, horn, zelbe go.
Zola get dog. Ha Dalo Zedobe go. Hey Tame Bazone. Ha Dalo Zedobe, Behedal Hagar get high de talk. Ain't hard but told it. Hey God, but oi, ta God be oi, take. Oh, yeah. God, support. Oh, the bay on thing. Hey God, a son. Oh. Coi Ts'ánhólhèl đó.
Hey to, hey to, hey to. Saynday Goes Fishing, Pullman, Pullman, Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah, Saynday Goes Bàihên, Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl. You will never eat a cowboy again. You have been tricked.
Oh my goodness, Saynday! Saynday tricked Kûidàu. He took his horn and ran off. Kûidàu was not able to go to the cowboy camp and eat the cowboys. Oh my gosh, that was awesome! Chickoo, chickoo, chickoo!
Charlie, what's this bucko doing in the house? Get this cow.
That's not a bow. That's my horse. That's Sayday's horse that we're looking for. Go, Saynday. Hey, Saynday! Saynday! Hey, funny, Saynday! Hey, funny! Funny. Oh, Saynday, oh! Here, kitty, 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 here, kitty, 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 kitty.
Oh ho, oh ha, oh ha.
All right, so with a couple of 2x4s and a blanket and some puppets, we were able to do that. So, and I was talking to Max and Dave, and I think we were trying to do something like once a month where we can take the puppets and be able to like do some teaching, you know. So if you're interested and you want to be part of that, you know, just put your email inside the chat, and I'll get in contact with you. And I just want to say again, thank you to Max and Dave. And Max and Dave, you got anything to say?
No, I just want to say thank you also to Tim. You know, he's the next Kiowa Jim Henson. He's real good with them puppets, and this whole skit, you know, was his idea. So yeah, aho Tim, and also aho Dorothy for teaching us that song and helping us the translations.
I want it to dance.
Oh. Oh.
Obaha.
Oh.
Ah, that was nice.
Oh.
Yes, Tim could be the next Kiowa Jim Henson. Last time we had Muppets speak Kiowa, so there's Muppet Kiowa language out there too. The last outreach, we had Cookie Monster and
Kermit.
who else? Who was Kermit?
Kermit.
The last outreach. All right, Cricket. We'll introduce the next Saynday story.
Dègyà de babon, Dègyà de batsan. Na cricket, Connie Wardy Ada, Hayhn-tday Áu. Kûidàu Roads ga Henry T'áukáuik'í. I'm so glad that you all are here and that you all came to visit. And I'm Cricket Roads Connie Wardy, and I'm a Norman candidate and work for KLCRP. And I'm just so excited. Also, we've been getting shout outs to the elders, but I want to give a shout out as well to our candidates. And we have some brand new candidates that just started in August, and Tim being one of them. And they are just doing wonderful and amazing things. And I'm so glad that these guys are jumping in there. In Norman, we have Kimberly Shook that joined for the first time in August, and she's just jumping in there and doing amazing things. And Allison, and I'm just real excited that we have such a large interest in doing this. So aho to the candidates. This story that we're going to share is kind of a newer, not one of the really older ones, but like a newer Saynday story, and from a newer batch. And what happened to the slide? Well, anyway, and it's from a newer batch, and there's many reasons why we tell stories: to teach lessons, things you should do, things you shouldn't do, to explain why things are the way they are, and also for fun or entertainment. And I feel like this story does all of those things. And I think all of the stories have. And so I hope you get something out of all those stories. And like they said, there's rules that we have to follow. They always start with Saynday Áu. Saynday was coming along, and they always are told in the wintertime when it gets and in the evening time after all the day's work is finished. And if that doesn't happen, your nose will fall off or get bigger or get chopped off, or however that works. So those are the rules, and we want to be sure to follow them. So this one is all in Kiowa. You can read it at the bottom underneath the Kiowa language in English, and the music is by Tom Ware. Can y'all hear it? Okay. Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl.
Saynday Áu. Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl.
Kûidàu Ts'ánhólhèl. Saynday dègyà. Kûidàu
Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl ga Delores.
T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl Hatso and Kong.
Saynday T'áukáuik'í.
Koiki ada na ya san mago Saynday ada.
T'áukáuik'í Delores.
Na'al yan Ts'ánhólhèl ga T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl Séndé T'áukáuik'í
Ma da de. Hatso in Ts'ánhólhèl. Harragarra toda. Dègyà Kûidàu.
T'áukáuik'í Séndé T'áukáuik'í
Ts'ánhólhèl ga Bàihên
Saynday Brings the Sun.
Saynday Goes Fishing.
Han en pai do ga. Bong honda o.
T'áukáuik'í Séndé Bàihên Èmhâñmémá.
Saynday Bàihên Séndé T'áukáuik'í
Saynday T'áukáuik'í
Hey, hey the hunger I go.
T'áukáuik'í Séndé T'áukáuik'í
ga Kûidàu Bàihên
Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl.
Toyebo Bàihên Giga Saynday T'áukáuik'í Kûidàu.
T'áukáuik'í Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah Sayn ga hold a do. Yankodo San Mago Saynday Áu.
Saynday T'áukáuik'í Ts'ánhólhèl.
Ha, but don't ye.
Oh,
ha
Oh,
Oh, Baha.
Aho.
Oh, I like that Saynday laugh.
oh. And your flute music was beautiful.
Oh,
Kevin found it and picked it out from Tom Ware's video.
It's an old Bilo Kozat piece from many, many years ago.
That's good to know.
As Dorothy mentioned, see, they're valuable. She just gave us important information there. I also wanted to add, on our Sunday sessions, we meet on Sundays and it's just Kiowa songs and stories, but Mrs. Marian Quality Hanson joins us. And so she is also helps with the Sunday sessions and she helps with the translations and she has information with Kiowa knowledge and culture. So that is another Kiowa elder I wanted to mention, as in addition to Aunt Dorothy, my mother, Delores, and Martha Nell and Velma. Next, I believe it's Melody. Is that right?
Ha. Aho, let me share my screen. That was awesome, Cricket and everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see the screen. So right now we wanted to give everyone an opportunity to hear some Kiowa elders. So a long time ago in the 1970s, the Kiowa tribe started this program. It was an effort by various Kiowa elders back in the 1970s who really had a desire to preserve our Kiowa knowledge for future generations of Kiowas. So basically, they spent quite a few years, around 5 to 7 years, meeting. They met often, I think, weekly. They met and they would record with the technology they had available, and it was the Kiowa Culture Program. And so you see one of the outcomes of that project that took place in the 1970s. It was led by a lot of elders back then, but one of the facilitators was Mr. Nelson Bigbo, and it was ran by the Kiowa tribe. It was called the Kiowa Culture Program, and they have a series of tape recordings. And the tape recordings are located at the Kiowa Tribal Museum. So if anyone on here is interested, you can certainly request to hear those recordings through the Kiowa Tribal Museum. But we wanted to share with you on one of the recordings, and this is tape number 112, there's various elders and they're sitting around and they talk about different topics each week in these tapes, in these recordings. And all of these tapes, they've been digitized. So we've been able to get the tapes turned into digital files. And so in this particular recording, they're discussing the topic of Saynday Stories. And so we wanted to share with you two of the elders are telling Saynday stories, and then Mr. Louis Toyebo, he was one of the I guess you could say, a leader of the program, and he really provided a lot of the overarching commentary for the sessions that they had. So he would provide kind of commentary on the particular topic, and then the various elders would each take turns sharing from their memories and just sharing stories about whatever that topic is. And there's hundreds of recordings because this program took place over almost a decade, from 1972, 73, up into the late 70s, 79, into the early 80s. And all of the elders in the Kiowa Culture Program who participated, you'll hear in various different of the tape recordings, they make comments about how it's really important that what they're doing is they're preserving the Kiowa language and our Kiowa knowledge for future generations of Kiowas. And they'll say that in these recordings. And it's, to me, it's been really inspiring to hear them speak, and to just have this resource. It's just amazing for us Kiowas that we have this, and that those elders at that time took time out of their life to prepare this for us and leave it for us, so that now we have it. And so we're really grateful for that and appreciative of that. And so I'm going to go ahead and play this recording, and we're going to hear two elders. They're going to share about two Saynday stories. So I'm going to go ahead, and it's going to start with Miss Isabel Twohatchett, and then you'll hear them announce Mr. Stephen Zotigh, and then Mr. Louis Toyebo will then start speaking about Saynday and what Saynday means to the Kiowas. So we'll go ahead and start the recording. Ako.
Isabel Twohatchett.
Séndé Áu i gan batong i go Séndé go bó an ma hai gon hape. Ei di ja oi go he go ja go do oi Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah. Ei di T'áukáuik'í do me go yoko yen do me a I ta de hi day hel go. Ne go honde ei di mada contest ge dogo hatel ingo arrows ge dogo hatel di taught di don di go ai ta de gom di go e go ta ho don e go pu sende yo mona ge ho gom no go tanti porto dome con de hel punk Saint Pete Tally Deo don di go mona tanti ton go quan mo ho to go an mon se go out de go ei ho de go in taught the hel go go honde he go go ei de an gu behel do he go o po Saynday go po Saynday the hel go bom taught the hel go go down in nose arrow a do down it again I con hel go just like in go do go down yi they do I ta down go yi de men ta ho down go yi de ta hel go pa go mon tip get do de go mon go at mon go yoko Saint Pete attack or the do mon di go corn to go go yoko stone on the gummy a show on the a show to him stone they go Saint Pete Talitone so be mon ha stone go back come up on the detain do the stone go so be mon ha stone go to learn go Saynday the hill so go go mon to go hop on board the hill and go they have the 8 long mon you thought go poi Saynday go poi just stop mon go poi ga go I can stay on then just put on me happy and not go I got tired go me on the 8 long just train the stone and the Kûidàu go just come up on the man and on the so be more ha stone and you could open money could some more Saint 8 the hill good Saint so you go mon Toyebo porte go wow yeah oi ni
Pause it there really quick and see if any of our elder mentors would like to share a little bit about what story she told.
think Aunt Dorothy's. Aunt Dorothy, can you share what the story was about?
That's such perfect Kiowa. I'm just in awe when I hear any of the elders from that era talk. You'll listen to them good if you acquire a CD or something from there, because it's really worth it. You won't hear that kind anymore, except by tape or recordings. Isabel was quite a lady. And she was talking about Saynday and Saint Pete. Saynday was vying for the favors of a young lady to marry, and he was trying to trick tried to trick by, there was a arrow contest or something, shooting at the target, and I don't know too much about that, but he cheated as usual and kind of got his way. But Saint Pete was one of the poorest guys in the tribe, and he always came out on top because he was so humble. And that's a cute little story. We should have had somebody telling it in English with that, but I'm doing the best I can. Delores, how else did it end?
Well, it was the chief who had 2 daughters to begin with, and he said the one who was the best marksman could marry his daughters. Anyway, they both, Saint Pete was married to one of them, but it ended up that Saint Pete was the one that he told his wife that whatever you want, just tell me and I'll do it. I'll get it for you. So then he said, and then the girl said, well, I would like some fruit. I guess it didn't specify, I don't know which fruit, but anyway. So, okay. So he had magic power. So then he just blew into his hand, put his hand out and hand to his mouth, I guess, and blew whatever. And then the fruit she wanted was there. So then Isabel said, well, Saint Pete was always around. He saw that. Saynday rather. And so anyway, he did the same thing. He held his hand up, and this sounds gross, but nothing but snot came out. And so anyway, that's a story of that.
And Saint Pete, the reason for that, and everybody that was ever remembers their childhood. I know I done it, but they called him Saint Pete because there was no Kleenex in those days or handkerchiefs. And when he wiped his nose, he would start from his elbow down clear to his hand, wiping his nose. Saint is just to say it bluntly, snot. And that's Saint Pete, it means that's how he wiped his nose.
And I don't know how she said it exactly, but like Dorothy said, he was raised, Saint Pete, that is, he was raised by his grandmother. Always, so he was a humble child raised by his grandmother, and apparently had magic powers that he could do anything.
Yeah.
Does Belma and Martha now, you want to add something?
Holiday, I think y'all covered most of it. And then you were talking about he had the magic powers. She was saying daw. He had that magic power.
In the old days, they would say Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah. They have a certain little bit of magic in them. Thank you, Velma.
Oh, aho. Aho, Grandma Dee and Grandma Dorothy, Miss Velma. Appreciate that. All right, so we're going to listen to the next speaker, and it's another Saynday story. So, and I believe it's Mr. Stephen Zotigh. So let me pull that up.
And now Stephen Zotigh. Ego, gatto zanraiko, Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah. Doko go wait all her edit to night that or they get to Zanma. Saynday Áu kan bo, eka kan anma, Saynday kan bo anma, mono to the KLCRP. Ko Saynday Áu konavana mon to yamon konon kaya, komon kan bo to haima. Komon to yama, konan komon Tsako, dot haike do Tsako. Eko bo yahaiko dova, tota bon hono de no yahaiko Saynday te kenk dorne. He's talking about the tsaros.
I don't know if her internet went out.
Can everyone hear that?
Your internet went out for a little bit and then it came back on.
Do you want me to start it over?
Oh.
Okay, let me pull it back. Let's see here.
It's the tsaro song. Anybody to interpret it? One of the students or Martha?
Okay. All right, let's try it again.
And now Stephen Zotigh.
Can you hear that?
We could, and then it stopped.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna keep playing it. I just want to make sure.
Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah. Doko go wait all her edit to night that or they get to Zanma. Saynday Áu kan bo, eka kan anma, Saynday kan bo anma, mono to the KLCRP yamon. Ko Saynday Áu konavana yamon to yamon komonon kaya, komon kan bo to haima. Komon to yama, konan komon Tsako, dot haike do Tsako. Eko bo yahaiko dova, tota bon hono de no yahaiko Saynday te kenk dorne. No kongo bim tohar toiko. Eko Kûidàu de eko Saynday te ke tongedek. Eko Saynday go kon Ts'ánhólhèl. Eko more to ton Tsako. Kaya ko kolgai taito, kaya ko kolgai anto mono de kikobu. Ekan ke bu pole Saynday. Le koko le kumura ya ko ke pel, ko silvan haya mo ko Saynday. E kumon ke dono ke ko ke pel ton ke kem dop ade. De dop ade tono da te be kun ko vetta po kon de ba ta ba ade to ton. E kumon ko Saynday kumon em dop ade ko. Ono de dog ke ha ko ne kape to ko Tsako be dog come. Tsado ton vato te tsado ton vato te o ya poloce chiku tole ke ko pe gua el toko de gua ran pe o te Tsako no shon el te ke koida el go o de keyboard de ke do ko de ko Tsako to ko yo a ko to ke do de. Oh,
Fun.
it's cute. He explained that he didn't ever tell Saynday stories too much. But since he was going to tell one, he wished his grandchildren were listening or would listen. And it's a cute story. Martha, would you repeat it? Yes, I think this is a story that, like he said, Séndé Áu, he's always coming along and he was always hungry. So when he saw the little T'áukáuik'í, yeah, the little prairie dogs, he knew that was good food. So he was trying to figure out how to get them. And then he decided he was going to sing for them and kind of lull them into calming down. And then after he started singing to them, he figured out, well, I'll take, probably had a club or something, and he's hitting them on the head. And they all had their eyes closed because he asked them to close their eyes real tight when they were dancing. And then there were, at the end, there was a small little female T'áukáuik'í. And when she saw what was going on, she didn't close her eyes. She was looking. So she started yelling, you know, hey, run for it, because he's doing us again, you know. And that's the reason why he said that we still have those prairie dogs today. I can just see that.
Oh. Well, I always appreciate the elders because they pronounce and say words that we never hear today because we don't speak Kiowa anymore, the way that they did. And I think he said no con got for his grandchildren. How did he say that? He didn't say Congi, he said Congo. Yeah. And so that's what I always appreciate is their pronunciation and their Kiowa vocabulary. Yeah, I appreciate.
Never mind, it doesn't work.
Or they would say, no, Kongyo Ekiato. My grandchildren, I hope they all grow up to be fine people. They own Martha Quitton.
I'm sorry. I thought I was muted.
That's okay.
Melody, is it possible for you to go back and get Margaret Danko? She was the three, or is it too much trouble?
Oh yeah, we can do that. Let me see. Yeah, because she tells the story right before Isabel Twohatchett tells her story. So yeah, we can do that. Let me see if I can find the spot.
That should be one of you ladies, your assignment to go back and translate those.
Oh.
Hyundai.
I think I found it.
And now Margaret Danko.
Can you hear it?
Oh.
Yes.
They all said it. Oh, I could. You hike it, Dorothy.
Isabel Twohatchett.
I don't know what happened to hers. Maybe I have to go back farther.
How much time do we have?
We have about 40 minutes. I don't know what happened to Margaret Danko's story, Grandma D? I'd have to go back and search the recording, so we might have to come back to it. Because it's not, I don't know. Let's see, is it right here? No.
After we hear the one that you have in queue, then we can go back maybe while other people are telling a story and give you time to look.
Yeah, I'll need to see if I can find it.
This is what I wanted to hear.
Okay, so the next one that we wanted to share, so we shared those last two stories. And then like I mentioned, Mr. Louis Toyebo, he would share his commentary, kind of like his reflection on the whole topic overall. And so this next part, we did a partial transcription of what Mr. Toyebo is sharing and what he's talking about. So we wanted to share what he's saying with all of you. And then we'll ask our mentors again to share their reflections on what he said. So I'm going to go ahead and press play. I'll press play and then we'll follow along, and then we'll stop and hear our mentors' reflections. Cool.
Hassomi. Tonka somi. Hatsu tsuke dot ote Èmhâñmémá. Gate patad. Ego. Saynday Hayhn-tday-gyah. Èmhâñmémá somi Twohatchett. Ego Saynday batonke Kûidàu batonke. Kûidàu doma. At omonton. Te kieko tai. Batonke Toyebo. Santa Claus batonke. Kûidàu doma. Got omonton. Santa Claus, they go on my high God, they go high, the gold they sent out, they go what that's why the Saynday is on that same principle. On get dègyà, get on the on the up te va koleom tane gadoit tat of the doit ageketa. Avon dayan dot ayaka. Hatsayon de montat of the sun dot of content. Hon dayakaya katel ton dègyà. Tat of cookie content of the Kohayanom the game good. Go do it, go they do. That's why the Saynday take about 8, about 8. Home do about 8. No, but get about 8. I have got go Saynday take go get dog. Domo, koku, tonke, mo, pelto, so do, kid, can't go but
Obaha.
He says,
Grandma Dorothy.
Saynday, it made me think of the magic in fairy tales or little songs or stuff that we do. And he said it exactly. Saynday wasn't real, but he hit where we needed him in our being. That's the way I understand it. It was some of the magic of Christmas or the magic of any time, a baby's birth or something. He didn't say that, but I'm saying that he made me realize that more than ever. I've always thought that there was magic in some of our Kiowa ways and our actions and the stories are all of our grands and grandfathers told us. And he just made it come alive for me. That's why I insisted so hard. He just put magic in the words about Christmas and everything, Saynday, everything that turned when your grandmother told you. That's the way I take it. Beautiful.
Oh. Grandma D, would you like to share?
Well, I'll have to start at the ending and go on, but he was speaking about briefly that he made was it Oman-thoned, or that means Oman means for an example is what he was saying when he mentioned Santa Claus. And then he was saying that there was healing and good medicine in hearing these stories because there's humor in it, and it uplifts you, and you say you're laughing, and then that's good for you. That if you're feeling bad or whatever, he just refers to the stories as uplifting you and making you feel good. I think he said joy, something about joy in there, but that's what, briefly, that's what he said. I've forgotten the end of it really, but he's just, and he goes on to say that he starts out commending the Kiowa people for their ways and the way that their language and how to use it, and that get taught, or they find a way to use a language in a good way.
Oh.
For some of you listen, that was Delores' father. Such a gentleman, all the Toyebo brothers. I had the honor to know them.
Oh. Oh, Grandma D and Grandma Dorothy. Grandma Martha Nell, would you like to share your reflection?
Okay, I've listened to this quite a bit, and I go back and re-listen to it. And the way Mr. Toyebo is talking about the comparison to Santa Claus, to me, I always think of Saynday and Santa Claus as being part of the mythological ethic. And anything to do with mythology is a story about somebody. It's always a fable or a legend or any kind of traditional stories. And if you think back to the stories we just did on Saynday, we Kiowas have always known him to be the trickster, and he always teaches. He does many things. I mean, one of the things I remember was that Sainday's always hungry, but when he tried to trick the sausages, and he's so hungry, he'd run ahead of them and he'd lay down and act like he was starving to death, and so they'd come up, feel sorry for him, and he could take a bite and it sustained him, and he kept doing that till they caught on. And that's why I think about when he's explaining this and comparing him, I always felt like he was like mythological and magic to me too. Overall.
Oh, aho. Miss Velma, would you like to share any reflections that you have?
Yes, not only the funny part, but there's a moral to every story. And like when you're telling the story, I'm saying, for example, my grandparents, when they told the story, and they always said, you know, if you do this, you know, this is what, there's always a consequence, you know, for choices that you make. So the moral of the stories, I think that to me is really, really important, especially with our children.
Aho. See, I'm looking to see if Miss Brenda, would you like to share any reflections that you have?
Just that I enjoyed hearing the speaking and listening to the fluency. It was just amazing. And I just enjoyed listening.
Oh, aho. All right. So I'm gonna share my screen again. I'm gonna pull up the slides and next we're gonna go ahead and I'll turn it back over to you, Carolyn.
Okay. Next, I believe it's Tim who will be this session about questions and sharing.
Well, I just want to say what a wonderful evening. Man, everybody did a fantastic job. So thank you all to the teacher candidates and to the mentors. It was really good stuff. So at this time, all that are visiting, I've seen some from Dallas and some from Carnegie and all over the place where you're visiting. So we appreciate everybody jumping on and joining us tonight. So maybe you have a question that you want to ask the mentors, or maybe you have a Saynday story that you heard that maybe we didn't cover tonight. I know one of the stories we didn't cover was the prairie dog one, but I guess, you know, that's everybody knew that one. But so maybe there's a comment you may have. So at this time, we're going to open it up for you to share. So what was as you think about your grandmother, your grandfather, the stories they told, you know, what were some of the stories that you can remember as a child that, you know, maybe we didn't cover tonight that you'd like to share with us? And then if you have a question for our mentors, it may not be about Saynday, maybe something else, you know, like just whatever, you know, you have on your heart. We want to do that at this time. So does anybody have any questions or a comment that you would like to make?
I'd like to acknowledge Kenny Harragarra for the design of Saynday's hand that he drew in the sky. That was his drawing by that constellation of the hand that we used in a couple of the pictures. And so I just, because sometimes I can't see things, and you know, when they say that's the hand, or the Big Dipper is the rabbit jumping, and so somebody has to draw it out for me. So I just want to, you know, acknowledge Kenny Harragarra for drawing that hand for us.
Thank you, Kitty. Any comments or anything?
Tim, there is a question in the chat.
Okay.
And the question is, will we be able to have access to the old recordings?
And that is going to be Melody. Can you answer that?
I can do my best. So that's a good question. And the recordings are available upon request through the Kiowa Tribal Museum. And so if you want to reach out to the Kiowa Tribal Museum, And just wanted to see if there's anyone on here who might be able to better answer that question about the Kiowa Culture Program tapes.
Is Tani, are you on? I thought I saw
Yes,
her.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Can you answer that for us?
Yeah, I was putting Eugenia's email in the chat. She's a museum assistant for the tribe. Here we go.
Aho.
Hello, Sharon.
She said hello. My little one here has a unique question and we don't have an answer for her. She wants to know if there is a female version of Saynday or a female trickster.
I never heard of it.
Alma said we're
That's a
all
good
tricksters.
question.
Oh, that would be my ex.
Just tell her that mommies do not tell stories like Saynday did. And I never heard, but Kiowas have always been a male. Women done all the work, but the Kiowas were, how would you say it? I'll just say it was dominating.
Male domination.
Grandma Dorothy and Grandma Dee, Melody. So from what I remember, I know that in our creation stories, so we don't have a female trickster, but we have a very important woman, Grandma Spider Woman. And Grandma Spider Woman was very important in our Kiowa creation, and especially with our Saynday T'áukáuik'í. So I just wanted to mention that I've always seen when my grandma would tell me Grandma Spider Woman stories, that, I appreciated that kind of female presence as kind of like an alternative to Saynday. They each have a different role and a different purpose to play.
I never could I never could tell the difference. I knew the difference, but I couldn't ever tell why Ts'ánhólhèl Ts'ánhólhèl was around. There was a Anadarko and Norman, that's spider. And then there's a Ts'ánhólhèl Ts'ánhólhèl. A Ts'ánhólhèl is a little calf, a buffalo calf, but then they say Ts'ánhólhèl. That's old woman. Can anybody clarify that for me? And there's a song, it says, I'm Kûidàu. Tonga are your clothes with the old Kiowa. And it's just the old calf lady that wears the black dress. And that's an old Kiowa. That's what I'm interested in. We have so much discrepancy sometimes because there's the new Kiowa that had to be written in later years because we never seen an airplane or anything like that. And then the old Kiowa. And I run into that all the time because my people spoke Kiowa all the time. But there's a Ts'ánhólhèl Ts'ánhólhèl and a Kûidàu Ts'ánhólhèl. And the Kûidàu was with the twin, the Saynday T'áukáuik'í.
Oh. And this is Melody again. I just wanted to add for any young ladies who might be on the call, or any young Kiowa girls who might be listening. The way I was told by my grandma Ruth and by my dad is that Kiowa men and Kiowa women have very specific roles that we play in Kiowa society. And we have certain things that we do. And the way I was told was that the women are in charge of the physical world. So the physical world, everything that you can see, touch, taste, hear, smell, women are in charge of that world. And the men, the Kiowa men, are in charge of the spiritual world. And that's the world that we can't see. They're in charge of the keepers of our songs and our dances and our ceremonies. And so men and women have very specific roles that we do, and we each carry specific medicine powers that we have. So I just wanted to share that's the way I was taught.
That's good, Melody.
Oh, thanks, Melody.
And yet we had women warriors in the Kiowa tribe, even from our old stories.
Oh.
How can we, you know, I try to justify that when I hear this story about being completely obedient. Would have been mighty hard.
I have a question. This is Sandra from Dallas. I was wondering, I remember Mom telling us a story about women warriors, and she would say that they usually were all day. And I didn't know if that meant, I didn't think about it at the time. You just accept what they tell you. And she would always say, well, she was all day. And that was why she was able to do this, because no one else could do it but her. So I'm assuming that was a part of, am I right thinking that it's a part of being a female warrior? Not today, but then.
And in my world, in my story world, Ode Matan was the one that at Devil's Tower, the story I heard, she was an Ode Matan, and Ode Matan was the one that climbed the tree to the heavens. So we've had years of Ode, and I can name a few women warriors that I've heard my elders talk about. And in Twohatchett, when they tell, that's the old word for tell. There was Kûidàu, there was Bàihên, there was Eta. Just, and I heard stories like that when I was growing up. And I mentioned the flute by Tommy because it was so beautiful. I was lucky enough to hear Bilo Kozak play his flute. And I'm stuck behind two stories that there's always another one. And so if anybody has an opinion, please could they answer the young lady from Dallas? Gandra.
Well, I hope that helps some, Sandra. So does anybody have a Saynday story that you heard that we didn't share tonight that you'd like to share with us?
He's too monsape. I laughed tonight so much. Saynday monsape.
The one where he catches the ducks.
They be taught how to bat do. So there's all of you listening. Somebody put in your ideas or something.
She just said she wanted somebody to tell the story about the ducks, Saynday and the ducks.
I never heard that one.
I never heard that one.
My dad used to tell it to us when we were coming home from Mountain Scott. It was where he was being monsape, and I know the meaning of the story is that leave well enough alone.
Can you share it with us? Saynday Áu.
I can't say it in Kiowa, and I kind of mess it up a lot. I can try though.
Go ahead, Martha.
Oh,
Saynday was on his way. It was a hot, sunny day. And Saynday said, boy, it sure is a hot day. I wish there was a nice pond, a nice tree, something to eat. And as he was saying that, he comes upon a hill. He walks over the hill and he looks down at below and he sees a pond, a tree, and some ducks that are in the water. And he shouts, oh boy, look at those ducks in that tree and those ponds. And he says, ooh, if I go down there and go hide behind those bushes, I'll go catch those ducks and I'll eat them. So he
Bring it.
Go ahead, Martha.
he goes and hides behind those bushes and he gets into the water and he comes underneath those ducks and he catches 2 ducks and he was real proud of himself. And then he finds a tree and he starts cooking them. And then Saynday said, oh man, this is a perfect spot. I got ducks, I got underneath a tree, the breeze is good, there's a pond. Then all of a sudden a big breeze blows and a tree branch above him starts squeaking. And Saynday said, man, this would be such a perfect spot if those branches weren't squeaking. Then another breeze blew and they squeaked again. Saynday got mad. And so he decided to climb up that tree and try and pull those branches apart. Then another breeze blew and it snapped his arm. And then he got mad and said, oh man, I'm stuck in this tree and my ducks are cooking. And all of a sudden he sees a pack of wolves coming over the hill. And Saynday thought they saw him and smelt the ducks, so he yelled at the top of his lungs, hey, you wolves, don't come over here. I'm stuck in this tree and my ducks are cooking. The wolves didn't hear him and they kept walking. And so Saynday yelled louder, hey, you wolves, don't come over here. I'm stuck in this tree and my ducks are cooking. Right as the last wolf was going over the hill, it hurt him. And they ran and they ate his ducks and then they left. Then Saynday was sad and soon another big breeze blew and he pulled his arm out. And once he climbed down from that tree, he said, man, if I didn't say nothing, my ducks would still be here and I would still have something to eat. And the moral of that story is if you leave well enough alone.
You know, it hit a bell when he was telling that tree to close. He was playing and he sat in the fork of that tree and he'd tell it, behate, behate, and it would go around him and it would tighten him like that. And I remember, and the ducks were gonga. It's gonga, or it's got ducks. But he would tell it there. When he tell the tree to tighten around him, he'd say, behate, behate. Is that let me loose or tie me up? Delores, Martha, you remember that?
A little bit.
Yeah, just kind of. I remember that because I grew up around your mother and we might have probably heard that together.
My mom can't remember much of the stories, but my dad remembers some, not a lot though.
Well, thank you, Martha. That was good.
That was cute.
She's one of my students at Riverside, so I was glad she was able to get up there and share. She's a good one. Hey, so listen, it's I'm getting close to 8:30, so I'm going to turn this over to Max. He's going to kind of clean things up. And there was one question that says, does other tribes have Sayndays? They might not have Sayndays, but I think they do have tricksters. You know, my son, he wrote a book and he has like it's not a Kiowa story, but he has a trickster in his story. So I'm gonna get this over to Max. So Max, if you do what you need to do, and then Dorothy's gonna close us out in prayer. Again, thank you everybody that joined us tonight. I thought we were gonna have Saynday clause, but no Saynday clause tonight, huh? Oh.
I think Antonia's going to talk about the program for a second before we close out.
I love the puppets. You've done good. All of you did. I'm so proud.
Antonia, it's all yours.
Okay, awesome. Well, again, Saynday Batsan for everybody who came and is still listening and has stayed with us this evening. It's been a good night. I think everybody has said that it's been really wonderful to get together and to hear so many stories all at one time. I'm just going to share quickly about what the KLCRP, a few details on the objectives of the program. And so we were able to know a little bit of the history and kind of what had inspired the implementation of the program, but just so that all of the community knows the different objectives and areas. So the 3 objectives of the KLCRP program are outreach, producing teacher candidates, and developing curriculum. And so when we talk about outreach, we're talking about events like this where the community is being engaged with the language and also engaged with every, as much of what information that our teacher candidates are learning each week when we meet together. And I would say that the basis of most language learning is within the community. So outreach is so vitally important to what the success of this program can be. And then in producing teacher candidates, we keep saying that. And in case you're wondering what that is, it's a lot of these individuals who work every week with our elder mentors. So we have the same elder mentors who also are ones who will be the individuals that certify teacher candidates once they are recommended to be certified. And what that might look like is that we go in front of our elders and we speak, and they somewhat, they don't really test us. I wouldn't say test in a way, but they do challenge our knowledge of the culture and the language. So not just the Kiowa language, but also the culture of what, pretty much are we paying attention each week? Do we know a lot of the basics and fundamentals of the language? And will we be able to teach it one day? Pretty much putting their stamp on us that they trust us. And then a part of that is developing curriculum as well. Curriculum is I would say, putting into physical terms of teaching materials. So that might look like lesson plans, an overall curriculum that could be used for pre-K, K through 12, whatever our goals are when it comes to sharing the language in a teaching sense. Producing curriculum is a vital part of this program. Just what we were able to hear in the recordings and even in some of the demonstrations of the language with the puppets. Those are key pieces in what it looks like to have guides for future teachers, for those individuals who may or may not be connected as closely to the Kiowa culture. It's very important that we are building this as much as possible. And so making sure that they have that, and this is what we produce as much as we can through this program. I just do want to mention that out of the teacher candidates and in the program, there are 5 areas in the state of Oklahoma that we focus on. And that is Lawton, Carnegie, Anadarko, Norman, and Tulsa. And those areas were selected to be the main regional points of contact based on previous voter participation in some of our tribal elections. So I just want to share a few of those pieces for you all that you can have and know. And when people ask who we are and what we're doing, that's just a little bit more for you to share. So aho, obaha.
Aho, Antonia.
All right, so I'll jump in real quick. I'll just be that guy and just give the friendly reminder. Please take the survey. It's imperative that the program hears your feedback, not only to inform future outreach events, but also this is data that Cricket will use for the grant. And also, if you have not, please fill out how many people you have in your household in the chat. And I just want to say thank you all for such a great event. Saynday Batsan, and I'll go ahead and hand it over to Miss who's praying? Miss Dorothy.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you that attended this. It means so much to us that the people that are taking Kiowa are progressing so good that we can rest assured that we'll be talking Kiowa for a long time. And I keep praying for the success of this. And we want to thank everybody who has been supportive of this program. Aho batontodoki. Hega amdekim oboida. The tide ode. The call on ta. Hyundai 8 donma. Hega moid hinton. I'm in Dorothy. Inga Hyundai get goitons on the aunt ta. The call on ta. Get Hyundai only Kûidàu adam the tide ode. Ego eep or the Kûidàu geda. No okot so ego betel do. Dorothy go. They are huddled over we tide ode. Hulto good or Hyundai gazelbe. Cookie the boat title. The aunt of time about handy. You do the code on it. Inga, he got a dog, a hold it, I got the Toyebo get on top. And to give thanks for everybody every family that was represented and every Kiowa in the whole world, God. Be with us and enter our hearts and show us that there is really a good way to live together. Solidarity and love for one another. It makes our tribe that much more greater. And we're forever thankful to you, Lord, for everything that you do for us. For this class, I want to thank you for the progress. Lord, thank you for such good people that are part of this program. And I want to again tell you that our prayers go up to you at this time. It's your son's birthday, and we wanted to sing happy birthday on his birthday. All these favors I ask in our Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Oh.
I wanted to let you know that we've talked about having, before everybody jumps out, we talked about having another outreach, and it's been suggested that we miss fellowship with, meal and prayers and eating together, and maybe having all of our sites with everybody in the public getting on Zoom and sharing a meal from home on Zoom and having fellowship as best we can during this time in that way. So that's something we might be looking at for our next outreach. So aho, everyone.
Good. I'm just so proud. Yeah, are you guys still on here?
Ha!
Oh goodness, this was so much fun. You were all so good.
Well, and I'm thankful for the sharing of stories. And I know we're done, but Martha, if you have any more you want to share, that was fun. I liked that one. I hadn't heard it that way before, so that was cool.
This is Jacob.
Oh, hi, Jacob.
Hey, you guys did an excellent job, and I'm so thankful that we have such a professional program like this that can help us to try to revitalize and sustain. I wanted to add a backstory to Antonio's about the teachers and all of that. We had to develop a mechanism because the State Department had worked very hard a few years ago to allow for our native languages to be taught in school. And we were able to, yes, that's me. And we were able to provide for regular native languages if we could get the tribe to be able to assess and authenticate the level of proficiency of our native teachers. And so having the board of elders, language, I'm not sure what you call them, commissioners, was critical to being able to validate the process so that our languages could be accepted as world languages. And we wanted to move away from the concept of foreign languages, because that's what Spanish and French and all that was. But our languages were original. We were here long before. So we were able to adapt to world languages. But again, having that board is critical to having access to public schools, and then being able to teach Kiowa 1 and Kiowa 2 so that they would meet the world language requirement in order to graduate. So that's why our program and having those commissioners was essential to the validation of the proficiency that would give us access to the public school classrooms throughout Oklahoma. So I'm so thankful that was completed. We're able to now assess our teachers, and they can move freely into the public school setting and be able to move our language forward in a very professional and acceptable way to meet the core language of the core requirements of the public school students in order to graduate. So I just wanted to mention that because that was critical with the State Department, that we were able to work that out.
Aho.
Thank you.
And in our public school, that's where we have the highest number of Kiowa children. So that is the best way to reach, our young people, is to be able to have it in the public school setting. And the only way we can as a world language is the way Jacob was telling us. So aho for mentioning that, Jacob.
Oh. Oh, aho, Mr. Zotigh.
You're very welcome.
Are there any more stories? Even though we're actually finished with the main part of our program, I would love to stay on and hear more stories if anybody wants to share any.
What time is it?
Kevin said it's the after party.
Kûidàu Ts'ánhólhèl. I said, to throw us out. Kûidàu Ts'ánhólhèl. I mean, when you get chased off without any kind of ceremony. There's a lot of slang, Kiowa, that's funny. Been telling Martha and I have a good time. Anyway, thank you, Jacob. My sister worked under Jacob for 30 years with Anadarko Indian. I was one of his parent-teacher members. You're a good man, Mr. Zotigh.
I have to drop, but I wanted to thank you all for this opportunity. It's my first time joining this type of event, and I have never heard my grandfather's voice before, so that was very special. Thank you.
Who is your grandfather?
Stephen Zotigh.
Oh, really? He's got such a broad voice. Darren and Ralph were with us off and on. They come on from
Uncle Ralph and Dennis. My dad was Spencer. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
There's a lot of him on those Kiowa Culture Program. recordings.
Awesome. I found some, my Uncle Ralph was here visiting and we found some on YouTube. And for 2 hours, he sat and translated everything he was hearing. It was great. So thank you again. And I hope I'll keep an eye out for more of these. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you for joining. Thank you.
Thank God, Kûidàu.
Well, Merry Christmas to everybody. I don't see you.
If you can go to a Kiowa Christmas, that's any church where they have Christmas. I invite you to Rainy Mountain, and then there's Cedar Creek, Ware Chapel, all those. And then they always, they have Christmas on Christmas night, not Christmas Eve. Most Kiowa churches.
That was all.
You have good bags.
Have to wait until the very end of the day to get our presents.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Goodness, yes.
Oh,
Merry Christmas.
y'all hang Kûidàu but dègyà.
Kûidàu.
I asked my sister one time how to say cedar tree. And she said, Kûidàu. I said, no, it's not. She said, Christmas tree. A toy tree. I said, no, I'm asking about cedar. Oh gosh.
Well, Merry Christmas. Love you guys. Grandma Dorothy.
Yes, love you too.
Okay. You guys take care and have a wonderful new year, and we'll all get back together. That's it. Omaha. Hey.
It was fun. It was a lot of work, but it was fun.
Hega ba oi bonta.
Hega ba oi bonta.
Twohatchett Ts'ánhólhèl.
Oh.
Just a phrase. Tomorrow afternoon. Twohatchett Ts'ánhólhèl. See you guys.
Okay. Good night.
Cricket.
Yes.
Are you gonna put that chat in the
I can send it to you.
Okay, I need to get all those. There's a lot of names that weren't showing up on the thing. So yeah, I need that. Thank you.
Okay.
Me too.
You guys all did an awesome job. Really good job. And thank y'all. I'm so proud of all of you.
Well,
you did a great
thankful
job
for you guys.
Aho.
None of us could have done it without each other. So everybody worked together like an awesome team. And I'm very thankful for all of y'all. It makes me feel good.
Send it to me too, please, Cricket.
Okay.
Miss Brenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everyone. I'm just really proud. Not that I haven't ever been, but y'all are just exceptionally.
Aunt Martha and Grandma Dorothy and Lori and Max and Courtney and the crew and everybody. I hope you all have a good Christmas and be blessed and stay safe. I know that COVID is still very much around, so please just pray over yourself and smoke yourself off however you need to, whatever you got to do, but just stay safe out there. Love you all.
And maybe we can all do guna. I'm going to play those tapes when I get through. I just get so.
You'll be dancing in your living room.
I'll see y'all. Good night.
Love you.
Good night.
Go say aim
Hey,
down.
go ba oi bangta. Obaha.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh,
Good night, Martha. Good night, Brenda. Good night.
good night. Love you.
Love you more.
Bye bye.
Ha. Han penha ba ama. I'm Dorothy. By the Apache tribe, I take my meals from them. And I was that was so nice today. They brought Christmas gifts for my daughter and I. And they were so nice. And then the Christmas dinner, we take our meals from them. And I need to thank them some way publicly. I don't know how to do it. That was so nice. And they gave us each a little blanket, and everybody that sent me something, thank you very much. Everything is well, but I was asking Delores if her church gave the candy bags after midnight.
Yeah, they have candy bags. I'll tell them to save you one.
Okay, I was just, mine is over on Christmas Eve, so.
I'll bring you on Christmas night.
Okay.
I'll bring you some, Grandma Dorothy.
Okay.
Miss Brenda, I'll bring you some.
Okay.
Yeah.
They owned it.
Ha.
Oh,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.